Imagine trusting an exchange with your life savings, and the person who ran it suddenly dies on a trip abroad. Now imagine that the only person who knew how to unlock the cold wallets with everyone's crypto was gone. Overnight, people who'd parked their money with that exchange could not get it back. The company said the founder died in India. Customers said their accounts were trapped, and the number floating around was staggering. Roughly $200 million, maybe more, vanished or frozen in a way that no one could explain. What really happened to the money, and to the man who controlled it all? Chapter 1. Rise of a Young CEO. Gerald Cotten was young, bright, and at the center of a boom. He built Quadriga CX into one of Canada's biggest cryptocurrency exchanges. For many users, Quadriga felt safer than dealing with anonymous wallets and complicated software. People trusted the platform and trusted the man they saw as the face of it. The exchange handled thousands of accounts and millions of dollars worth of crypto. To most customers, Gerald looked like someone who had won the new digital world. But behind the scenes, auditors and journalists later found worrying signs. Payment processors were unreliable, accounting was messy, and the business did not always follow clear financial controls. In short, the company was fragile, depending too much on a few people and on systems that were not solid. Chapter 2. The Death That Locked the Vaults. On December 9, 2018, Gerald Cotten reportedly died while traveling in India. The news was announced publicly weeks later, and the company said he had been the only one with the passwords to the so-called cold wallets. Offline storage meant to protect large amounts of cryptocurrency. Without those keys, Quadriga said, they could not access a huge portion of their customers' funds. The filing and press reports then revealed the terrifying scope. Customers could not withdraw their money, and the exchange faced a sudden liquidity crisis. That explanation raised immediate questions. Why would a company rely on a single person for critical security? Why did some wallets appear to be empty even before his death? And if the wallets were empty, where had the coins gone? These questions triggered a wave of reporting and official reviews that dug into the exchange's books and blockchain history. Chapter 3. Empty Wallets and Dirty Records. Independent auditors and investigators began to trace transactions. Ernst & Young, which was hired as a court-appointed monitor, found that many of the wallets Quadriga claimed to hold were empty. Some funds had been moved long before Cotten's death. The audit suggested that Cotten had used customer funds in risky trades, and that the exchange had created fake accounts and fake trades to cover shortfalls. In plain terms, money clients thought was safe had been spent or lost in other ways. CoinDesk +1. Investigative reporting also revealed signs of lavish spending. Cotten bought expensive items, and Quadriga's records were incomplete and messy. Journalists and regulators looked at blockchain trails and found patterns that did not match a company simply locked out of its own wallets. They pointed to mismanagement and possible misuse of customer assets. But proving intent, whether this was fraud or gross incompetence, would be complicated and slow. Chapter 4. Theories, lawsuits, and what we know now. Two big stories took hold after the collapse. One was the official finding. Quadriga owed customers roughly 190 to 215 million Canadian dollars and had only a tiny fraction in accessible assets. Regulators and courts worked to sort creditor claims and to recover what they could. Reports and official pages documented the missing funds, the bankruptcy, and the long legal fight. The other story was the rumor and conspiracy. Did Gerald Cotten fake his death and run away with the money? Some pointed to travel logs, gaps in records, and odd personal choices. Podcasts and documentaries explored that possibility and kept public attention alive. Yet official investigators, while critical of Quadriga's controls and Cotten's conduct, have not produced clear evidence that he staged his death. Many experts say the most likely picture is that a mix of risky trading, loose bookkeeping, and poor controls left the exchange insolvent, and Cotten's death simply made the problem public. Ernst & Young's work and regulatory reports later suggested that a portion of the missing funds could be explained by trading losses and transfers to other platforms. Blockchain firms that analyze transaction history produced maps showing movement of coins. But locating and seizing those assets across global exchanges is legally and technically difficult. The user losses, the trust broken, and the unanswered questions made this case a warning for the wider crypto world. Epilogue: Lessons from a Digital Collapse. The Quadriga story is not just about one man. It's about how fragile systems can be when control and transparency are weak. It shows why exchanges must have clear audits, multiple people with protected keys, and public proof that customer assets exist and are accounted for. For ordinary people who trusted the platform, it became a painful lesson. In crypto, you may be safer if you control your own keys, not a third party's promise. The mystery never stopped people from asking whether Gerald Cotten staged everything. The truth is messy. Audits show serious wrongdoing or mismanagement, wallets were empty, and hundreds of millions were out of reach. But whether it was an elaborate exit scam or catastrophic mismanagement, the result was the same. Thousands of people lost money, and the case left a stain on the industry. Money lost, trust shattered, and a founder who vanished into a question mark. The Quadriga story changed crypto forever. But this is just one mystery. Countless others are still lurking in the shadows. Subscribe to Zaak Crime Circle, where the truth is always darker than you think.